I didn't know that was my task, but you know what? It doesn't have to be me, it just has to be the truth to fire people up, because that's what this whole campaign was about. It's about truth. First, I agree with almost everything Ward Connolly said. Almost everything. One small thing I disagree with, and we'll get to that. But, well, lawyers, we always have to do that. But I got involved. Linda asked me to talk a little bit about how I got involved, and then kind of some thoughts of where to go from here. So I'm a civil rights lawyer. I relish that role. I fight for justice. I've been on every diversity committee, from Democratic Party politics, Asian bar politics, trial lawyers, all that, for years, since undergrad. And so civil rights is my passion. And I was watching, I remember in the springtime during the session, and I'm hearing about this initiative going through. And then I saw in the news that they crammed it through last minute with the minimal amount of notice, and a bunch of Asian Americans in the stands just yelling. And I'm like, what is that? So I'm looking them up, like, who are these people? Because I've been involved in the Asian American community for many years. Like, who's leading this? Who's leading this? This is great. And I didn't recognize any names. And I went, wow, this is fascinating. And so I started just watching, and I saw now they're doing the referendum process. And once they got the signatures on, because my thought as a lawyer is like, okay, if they don't get the signatures, it becomes law. I want to see who's going to handle the lawsuit to try to strike this down. But they got it on the ballot, and that's when I called Con. I heard him on, I think, Kirby Wilbur's show. And I'm one of like 2 Democrats that listen to KBI. So heard them on they were like looking for people to help observe the referendum verification process. So I gave Con a call, and within about half an hour after him linking in Linda, she's asked me to be a co-chair of the campaign. And I said, don't you want to meet me first? So we met, and this is why I got involved. I took a look at what this initiative said. And as a lawyer, my job is to read statutes. My mouth just dropped open, because it was not about simply undoing Initiative 200. That could have been done with a 1-paragraph line. It was creating a monstrous, abusive power grab for government bureaucrats, unlimited, unsupervised, unchecked, undefined. And I went, oh my goodness, this is crazy. So, helped a little bit, but then I got involved in a couple different ways because of what the other side did. So here's what I want to say first. I don't think this is a celebration of Referendum 88. It is, as Ward said, so much bigger. And I am not sure if folks in this room, because most have not been involved in politics, understand how big this victory is. It is a victory for twofold. It's for democracy, and it's also for Asian Americans, always the stepchild of the civil rights movement, always ignored, always being told to shut up, write a check, and back everybody else up. But let me ask you this. If the Harvard lawsuit, which we all followed, if those numbers were being applied to African Americans or the Hispanic community, would that have been tolerated? No. Everyone would be up in arms. All the presidential candidates would be complaining about it. No, we're supposed to sit there and take it. And what happened is our Asian American leaders in this state did nothing, because it's all about relationships. They're political. People ask me, why was Gary Locke involved? Because it's about his relationships with all the people involved. And so what was a beautiful thing is this movement arose out of people for one reason: truth and integrity. And that was just amazing to me. So that's why this is much bigger than Referendum 88. It is, I think, we haven't had Asian American leadership in this state. Most of our Asian American leaders have been linked to social services agencies and other things like that. And I can speak of this because I've actually led some of the groups. We have not gotten down to protecting civil rights wholesale across the board for every Washingtonian. And that's what this group has changed permanently. I think it's permanently changed the landscape. And Linda was right when she described who was involved, who you be. And I do not know if you really understand just how big that is. Not only the governors, the labor unions, and that ballot title. I sat there, when I read it, when I got involved, I went, what? Are you kidding me? And, I sit there, and it's, first of all, it's a flat-out lie. It's the opposite of the initiative. And then I just heard, the judge threw out, or the judge entered in the car tax case. The judge decided that the title may be confusing. I believe the title said something like, do we all want $30 car tax? Right? That's confusing. Why don't you read the Referendum 88 title, which is not just confusing, it's a flat-out lie. So you have the worst possible ballot title ever in the history of this, at least my adult life in Washington. So you got the AG against you. He called me the other day asking for a donation to his campaign. I said no. He's on a list my assistant have of calls I try to avoid, because as a Democrat and a trial lawyer, I'm always getting calls for money, and I'm like, I'm not here. He got through somehow. You're up against PACs, insiders, the media. Now, I never paid much attention to the claims of media bias, really, because I didn't, until I saw what was going on with this campaign. I went, I couldn't understand it, I couldn't fathom it. I've worked with the media for years, and I could not believe this. So what your group was, a group of mom and dads, small business owners, veterans, Republican Party, and a couple of really pissed off trial lawyers. Okay, so I don't know if everyone knows about this, but myself and Thomas Girardi, who's a phenomenal lawyer out of Spokane, veterans rights lawyer, we signed the voter pamphlet statement, and then 3 weeks later we're getting sued individually, and without being told, by the way, because that's how the other side operates. So, free legal advice: if you're going to sue people, don't sue trial lawyers. Oh, were we pissed off? We were pissed off. I pulled an all-nighter, and so did Thomas, writing our briefs, going down there, and just, we just went after them hard. Within 2 days, they were dismissing their lawsuit quite a bit. But other than that, I mean, really, you're up against the entire establishment. And I don't know really if that can be comprehended how difficult that was for you. And that's why this victory is huge, because it's about grassroots. All these different groups coming together, grassroots, standing up against the machine. That is democracy. And everyone did a great job, and I want to do a separate call out, though, because I got to watch some of the veterans in action. Man, if you want stuff done, our veterans were amazing. And if everyone who's a veteran here can please stand up, I think that you should be acknowledged. It was absolutely, get something done, ask the vets. They got it done. And then here's the other part, though, about the dismissiveness and the racism involved with this initiative. I heard the stories, because I came into this party late, about what it was like for you to go to the legislature and talk to your elected officials. Let me ask you this. Were they interested in the truth? No. Were they interested in logic? No. Were they interested in fairness? No. Did they treat you with respect? No. Right. That's what you were up against. And let me ask you this. Do they know who you are now? Oh, yeah. Yeah? Asian Americans will no longer be the ignored stepchild of politics anymore, of the civil rights movement. Ever. You've proven democracy is the most powerful force in this country. And it just brings, as a civil rights lawyer, it just moves me so much. After a week after the first election results, when we knew they couldn't catch us, I sat back and I go, I cannot believe we won. Just what Ward said. I called one of our best consultants. I go, did we really win? Because it really was a David and Goliath thing. So the question is, where do we go from here? And Ward is right. They're gonna come back. They're like noxious weeds, that you just can't really get rid of until you dig them out, But I disagree with one thing, because he was talking about how, next time we just have to beat them by a bigger margin. I think there should be a different strategy. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. You win your war before it starts. You prevent the war. So, how do you do that? Well, number one, you have built something amazing here. You need to make your presence known. Number two, you need to build relationships. You built good relationships with the Republicans. Probably should start reaching out to find some Democrats or others to reach out to, because there are some. Number three, as you build your organization and figure out how you want to keep this going, because to me, this is the real Asian American community voice. I was so pissed off. I heard on the radio, I was the past chair of the Washington Commission on Asian American Affairs back in 2004 to 8 or whatever. Governor Locke appointed me. But we would have never taken a position supporting this type of initiative. Number one, it's a very political issue. The Commission's job is to inform legislators and other government agencies on issues that affect Asian American affairs. We weren't supposed to take positions. So I was really upset about that. But this is truly the Asian American leadership now, in my view. Don't let it go. Don't let it slip away. Build on this. But you're also going to have to stay, in part, independent. Work with Republicans, work with Democrats, but even the Republicans will tell you that if they have an issue, which we might agree with, it's better to have it coming from an independent versus a Republican voice. So you can keep that independence there, but still fight for what you believe in. Obviously, we recognize that the Republican Party is really important in the voter ID and all that. That's huge. And for that, that's excellent. So think about the partnerships for the future, but remain independent along that line. And finally, I think we need to diversify. There wasn't time really to diversify this group. Because I thought about this, how can we do this? For example, Korean Americans. Korean Americans have a very strong conservative view on things that would not have supported this type of initiative. There's a split, in fact, because some Korean American activists are all Democrats, others go other ways. Korean Americans are a great place to reach out to. Southeast Asians, Vietnamese, natural allies on many of the issues we care about. So, and I'm not just picking ethnic groups, but I want to get around this whole, what did they call you guys? Ignorant Chinese immigrants? Or what was it? What did they call them? What? New immigrants. Yeah. Selfish immigrants. Wow. Yeah. So, what my experience with immigrants is this: they value democracy more because they know what it's like without it. But I will say this, it's not just immigrants. And hey, more power to it. Maybe it's the immigrants that needed to teach Americans what democracy really is about, to take us back to our roots. The other thing, this may be too radical, but I want to say it. I think Linda and Con with their number crunching, it would be great to start going to legislators, Democratic legislators in districts where the initiative went our way, and just sat there in a nice way and just say, you know, we want it by this percentage. And by the way, just so you know, of our organization, we have 25 active activists in your district. You know, and just start talking to them now, ahead of time. Now, there's some profession. It's brutal, but you know what? That's what the other groups do. As a trial lawyers are educated, we know law, we have power, we have money. But we hire lobbyists. We have 3 full-time, last I counted, lobbyists with a full staff, because they talk a different language. You have some people here who are pretty sophisticated on how to talk the language in the legislature. Maybe train up a couple people to go down and start meeting with those legislators now about what this referendum looked like in their district in a nice way. But the point is, be present. This may be a bad idea, I don't know, but talk to those who worked Olympia a lot and find out. But just go down and make your presence known. Let them know that we will not be considered dull, not well-rounded, those words, quiet. What are all the other stereotypes? Not anymore. We're not the quiet stepchild anymore. Let's just go in their offices and lay out the facts, strong, and don't care what they say. I'm serious. Maybe that's just my trial lawyer, so it's like, here you go. Here's your numbers. We had 30 people ready to work on whatever candidate supports our position. You know what we can do. Hasta la vista. You know, I don't know. That's my style, may not work, you know, who knows. But the point is, I hope you take away what Ward was saying and what I'm saying. This is not about referendum 88. This is much bigger. This is a tide change, I think, in politics, in this state at least. For Asian Americans and for democracy. So keep up the great work. You guys are amazing. Take this power and go use it.